Hello. Hi, everyone. All right, so we'll just give it some time for more people to join. Hi, Tosin. How you doing?
Good evening.
Good evening.
How you
Good
doing?
evening.
Good evening, Sir Vincent. Good
Right to sing.
Good evening. Um,
Good evening, everyone. You're welcome. We trust you had a good evening. We're waiting more people to join the call. Our guest is already on the call, so just give it some more time. Reach out to your colleagues, tell them we are live. Okay, so how has the evening been? It's a Friday. How has it been? How has the week been? Hi, Chizogam. Hi, Onene. Hi, Kubiat. Hi, Akim. How has your week been? Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, good evening. I can hear you.
Oh, great.
My week has been fine. I'm still at work.
Okay, I
All right.
all right. All right. Anyone else? Is everyone still at work? So, good evening. You're traveling? Is that what you said?
I said thriving. You asked how the week has been.
Oh, great, great, great. Glad to hear that. Glad to hear that.
Thank you.
All right, Chizogam, you're awfully quiet this evening.
Good evening. I just got home not too long ago. So I went to Olajide Center for ITTS. So I just got home not too long ago.
Okay. All right. Welcome back. We're 2 minutes in. I want to give you some more time for more people to join the call, and we'll get started. Good evening. Yes, you're on your way home. Can hear. I can hear the chat.
Yes, I'm on my way home. Yes.
All right, Deborah. Safe trip. Keep your eyes on the road. All right. We'll just give it a few more minutes. We had over 100 people register for this, so we'll just give them some more time to join us and we will get started. Okay. Is there anyone on the call that this is your first time, your first ANSD session, event, or first in a long time? Is there anyone on the call? Well, apart from our speaker, but is there anyone else? Okay, so these are all ANSD believers. All right. We'll just wait to hit the okay. I was going to say we should wait to hit the 20-man mark. Okay, We're still expecting a lot more people. Just give me a minute. All right. What's wrong with my camera? Can you guys see me? Okay. All right, it's up. So welcome once again to everyone. Tonight's session is the first day of the 2-day series of us looking at the impact-oriented software tester. And before I introduce our guests today and we go deep into the topic and have conversations around it, right? I want to give more of clarity as to how we arrived at this topic and why it is important, right? So one of the guests for this 2 days series, I know it some time ago, where he was my mentor. Yes, that's Chibuzo. He was my mentor some years ago, for the ladder mentorship program. And so from that mentorship was when we started this conversation as to value and software testers and being able to write in English the value they offer. So sometimes there's this fear and tendency that software testers are just an addition, they are the afterthought, right? We join the development team when the bad guys have delivered, right? And they just say to fulfill all righteousness, let's add the software testers. And for years, we've played in that space and that mind game. And it has affected us so badly that it even reflects in our CV. So we're not able to say with boldness and audacity the value we offer. We can't even quantify it in words, let alone defend it when we go into interviews. So a lot of the time there's that, what do I really do as a software tester? And yes, I know what I do on a day-to-day basis, but is it really important, right? And that's what gave birth to this topic of the impact-oriented software tester. And our guest today is Mr. Vincent Olajide. I know that we have a lot of questions for HR these days, Mr. Vincent. I'll introduce you shortly, but I just hope that you are ready for us because this our community and our role has had in the past few years a lot of questions for HR professionals. When we see JDs on LinkedIn, different platforms, we are wondering what is going on, like what's happening with the JDs we are seeing these days. So I'm pretty sure there's a ton of questions that will be coming your way during the Q&A, but let me just first introduce our guest. All right. So our guest is Mr. Oluwasomi Vincent Olajide. He's a multifaceted professional with an expertise in various fields. He's a human resource expert and a seasoned HR professional. He currently serves as the senior people manager at Cavistas, where he leads the talent and people team. He focuses on recruitment, employee engagement, and cultural integrations. His academic background, he has a BSc in economics from Covenant University, and he has worked in a number of notable organizations. So that's how I got to meet Mr. Vincent, even though there's another angle to our meeting, but I got to meet him at Venture Garden Group, where he was a group head of people operations there, and he was overseeing recruitment and strategy, as well as employee welfare. Yes, we were well taken care of. I remember that. Then he's the people operations business partner he was also a people operations business partner at Venture Garden and a HR consultant and organizational development officer at SIAO. So this evening, I'd like all of us I know this is not Google Meet, this is Zoom, but let's see the emojis, let's see your reactions. Let's give a resounding welcome to Mr. Vincent Olajide. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Deme. I am super, super excited to be here. This feels like home. Of course, it feels very much like home. The QA team has always been part of me. Um, Not just to say about QA alone, everything engineering, everything tech has been part of me. So having to be in the midst of this wonderful set of people feels very much like home. Thank you very much for that good introduction.
All right. Great to have you. You're welcome on board. So we'll go straight into the questions because we are almost 10 minutes out. While we await more people. And you're welcome. Like we see people in the chat still welcoming you. So you're very much welcome. So I'll go right into it. So as people who have worked for a number of years, right? For the older software testers on the call, we might have noticed some degree of changes in the hiring process and in the job market and the job searching for jobs and all of that, right? My first question is, has there really been changes in the hiring process, or is it just plain in our minds, right? As from the HR perspective, has there been changes in the hiring process over the years? If yes, what are the things that you think are responsible for these changes, or what led to these changes, and how has these changes come to light?
All right, thanks, Deme. Of course, there's been a major change in hiring process over the years. And to be sincere, it's not like a major strategic change. It's not like, the HR community or people team community sits together and says, you know what, we need to do something better. The change was brought about because of the reality of what the labor markets now look like, right? Two things. One is there's a lot of people going into the labor market now. So it brings for a lot of competition. You now have a lot of people that are available for interviews, are available for, job search and all of that. Secondly is the bets for the recent tech environments. As at 2000 and 2005, yeah, 2007 to about 2011, 12, tech was not the main thing in Nigeria, right? It wasn't the key thing. It was more of the banking sectors, right? And so it's pretty much very simple. When you look at the profile, you know what you're looking for, and that is it. But when tech came in, there is now that urgency in terms of looking at the profile. And so the major change, right, in the hiring process is basically around time to review profile, right? Because a lot of it, right? Um, of course, the applicants tracking system has helped a lot on that side of things. There's also the part of the environment that we now play in, which speaks more to culture, right? And so the hiring process now has moved away from a lot of being technical to a culture fit hiring model as well. So there's a technical part that people would easily look at, but then top of mind for most recruiters right now is, do you fit culturally into a system? So those are the major changes, right? And for that, if you understand how things have changed, you then need to put yourself strategically on how you'll be visible in terms of your profile, in terms of when you even have the opportunity to sit in front of an interviewer, right? And so this starts to play in your mind and allows you to better prepare for certain stage of every hiring process you get to. I hope that helps.
Yes, it does. You mentioned something that's very key. Yeah, you did mention the change in and the focus and direction moving to IT. And I know a lot of us, especially a lot of people who have transitioned to an IT job now, did that because he heard a lot about it. There's more money, there's this, it got in vogue at a time. The key question I want to ask following what you said is, you mentioned that ATS helps. So because of the change in direction and focus of jobs from same banking to now IT jobs, and a press in a lot of people transitioning into it because of the lie, or should I say like the tendency to say that there's a lot of money there, right? So a lot of people are in the market, and you said ATS is helpful. Is ATS really helpful? And is it just from the recruiter's perspective that you would say ATS has been helpful? In what way has ATS helped?
So yes, it's just from the recruiter's perspective, right? So the major help ATS has done is, and it's relative, right? And it can be very, very dangerous as well because of the volume, right? I remember when I was fully into recruitment, if you should put out a vacancy for, let's say, a product manager role, you get as much as 200, 400, 500 profiles. Do I want to open each of those profiles to review? Because I have the time to hire as well, which is a key performance indicator for me and my employer or my clients or whoever I'm supposed to give that candidate to, right? I don't have more than a 30-day mark to get someone. I cannot go to 200 or 300 profiles. So what ATS has done is it helps you sieve for particular key skills. And that's why it's important, right? When you bring your resume, the key things that are important needs to be on your resume, because that's what recruiter will generally just look for, right? Example, I'm looking for a QA engineer, and I need the person to have what's it called now? To be able to do automated testing, right? My ATS just sieves out automated testing, brings out about 50 people. I can devote my time to look at 50 resumes, right? From that 50 resumes, bet me I can get up to a 10 or 15 very good resumes that I can then further probe down to have what I need to then do my interview. Now, the danger of it is you would have overlooked a lot of people that can actually do that job, right? But like they say, grace is key, right? Very, very key. And that's why we're doing this. That's why we need to enlighten ourselves as much as possible so that we know what to do to be able to be visible and to be able to, at least get to that door, be able to knock the door and open the door and then get in. Very, very key.
Okay, thank you so much, Somi. So use keywords, mirror the keywords against the JD, because there is an ATS system that's most likely going to review your CVs. All right, that's noted. That's tip one. Okay, so the next question is around what technical recruiters look for in CVs. So when you're hiring for a technical role, quality engineers also included, what are the things you are looking out for in the CVs? Because it's a bit, I think on the employee's end, is a bit worrisome, because you've already said that our CVs will most likely go through a machine, a system that will vet us, right? Then maybe once it has sifted some people, it then goes through a manual review where you or someone in the HR team actually goes through those CVs. So when we get to that stage, what are you looking out for? What are the key things you're looking out for outside of buzzwords, keywords that align with the JD that was advertised? What do you look out for in a CV before you even speak or see the person?
Okay, as a recruiter, very, very key. There's a reason why I put out the vacancy in the first place. There's certain things I'm looking for that I need to see on your CV. And I need to say this, very, very important. We all need to understand basic selling skills, right? We all need to be a very good marketer. It's very, very key. And the reason why I say this is there's nothing you're doing other than, selling yourself with your resume. So the way your resume comes out is the way a recruiter will see you without, having to meet you, right? I've seen good people, right, that by the stroke of luck, I've decided to meet them during interviews. And I've been wowed, and I have to tell them, guy, you're very, very lucky because on a good day, this resume would not scale through, right? And those are just one out of maybe 10 or 20 people. A lot of people miss the chance to get their dream job because of how they sell themselves, right? Now, what am I looking for as a recruiter? Number one thing I'm looking for is one, your resume, the feel of your resume is key. It's a tech environment. I'm looking for a QA engineer. I'm not looking for a product design person. So I open a QA engineer and I'm seeing colors. Number one, it's not from a place of, being irrational or something. It just gives a nasty first impression when you open up a resume and there are designs, there are colors and all of those. Please, you do not have to design your resume, right? It doesn't help, except a product designer or something. And then sometimes people put their picture. It's been a while I've seen those kind of things where you open up resume and then you see the person's face on the picture, right? It's not a flight attendant role. You do not need to put your face, right? Very, very key. So the feel of your, excuse me, please. Excuse me.
It's not a flight attendant role. No need to put your face.
Sorry, guys. I had to tell my colleagues to please reduce the noise. Okay, so yes, so aside from that, I then need to start saying some key things that sells you, right? Um, your your profile summary is very, very key. Now, it's also very, very tricky. Your profile summary, you don't want a lot of words, right? That I have to read a lot of things. You need to go straight to the point, right? You're a QA professional with a 3 years experience. You've done manual testing and automated testing. That alone allows me, it just whet my appetite to want to go more into your resume, to go see what you have in your resume, right? And then after leaving that, your profile summary, I'm looking at the technical skills that you've built over the period of time that you either worked or maybe you've done something, right? The technical skills section is very, very key, where you have maybe the language you're familiar with, the testing tools you're familiar with, and all of that, right? And then very, very key is your experience. Now, there's something that is always very, very tricky when you're writing your experience, right? Start with the most recent, where you are right now. It's key, right? Irrespective, your experience or not experience, start with the most recent that you've done. And once that part where you say, okay, your role and then the company, and then you go down. So people just put role company and then they move to another one, role company, and then move to another one, role company. No, let people see what you're doing. And it should be what you're doing, it should be practical. Do not copy a JD on your resume, right? Where you say, JD talks about a QA tester is meant to do this, meant to do this. No, you should put what you're doing currently. And then when you move to the next experience, you should put what you've done, right? What you worked on. It should tell a story. So when I'm seeing your most recent, I go to the next, I see what you've done that makes you qualify for what you're doing right now. And I can see where your story starts from, right? And now you've been able to build your career to where you get to, right? So your resume should be all about selling you. Everything that needs to sell you for that role is what you should put into your role. And remember, everything on your resume, you should be able to defend them, right? That's another key thing. You should be able to defend whatever you have on your resume with real life experience scenarios. Very, very key, right? So basically that's what I'm looking. It's not complicated, guys. What it's because you're at the other side of the table and I'm here. I'm the one looking at your resume. You feel like, oh, it's so technical. What these guys are looking for, it's so much. And then you want to put in everything. You want to put in everything. Number one thing is go through the job description of the vacancy, understand what is needed, work on your resume, refine your resume, let it show what is being asked for. Simple. You don't need to do too much. You don't need to do less.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Somi. You've mentioned a lot of key things. Saying we should limit designs. When you say feel, are you speaking more in details to font size, to alignments, to the text, choice of text? Like outside of colors, what else do you mean by feel?
Everything. The choice of text is key. You should use something that is very visible. Yeah.
Is there a position themselves for global opportunities?
Okay. Sincerely, it's not about global or local or any of those things. It's all about acing an interview. It's same, right? It's same. The only difference is one thing I would say is understand the culture of the um the company, not from a working culture, but in terms of the country culture, right? So that you know the things to say. Let me give you an example. In Nigeria, right? I can easily tell a lady in my office to say, "Oh, you're beautiful today," right? And it's not an offense, right? She doesn't see it like, "Oh, I wasn't beautiful yesterday," right? I work in an environment where I have to deal with a lot of Americans. If you tell that to an American lady, you're harassing her because you've just told her that she wasn't beautiful yesterday. That's what it is. You get the point I'm trying to make. So that's the major difference. So one key thing is look for a way to understand the culture of the people that wants to speak to you. That's very, very key. Having said that, now it's pretty same in terms of you preparing for an interview, to ace interviews and all of those things. Key thing that you would do. They're looking for a job in Zenith Bank or you're looking for a job in Microsoft. The job advert has a job description. You need to study the job description. There's a reason why those job descriptions have been written out the way they are. And then tailor your responses to their stack. Very, very key, right? And so while you are going through an advert, be very, 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 very deliberate, intentional, and then be aware of the things that have been put on there, right? And so if you get the opportunity of you having to speak to them, study the job description, and then start having scenarios with yourself or with a colleague that can help you start asking questions around this job description, right? Prepare star formats answers. Well, what I mean by star, STAR, situation, task, action, results, right? And all of this is around your experience or the things you've done, real life experience, right? For QAs, it's going to be around bug reports, challenges they faced, and all of those stuffs, right? Very, 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 very key, right? These are just few things, right, that you can do. But then another key thing, like I said, is your resume most times is your interview questions, right? The current job I'm in, I prepared so much for that interview in 2021, right? That when I got to the interview, every question they ask was the things I've done on my resume. Every other thing I prepared for, the JD, all of those things. Bam. It was the things I've done on my resume. And that's why you need to be very, very careful. Do not sell yourself to the extent that you cannot defend yourself. Very key. But the things you can actually defend yourself about. And that's the most interesting interview you would ever have. Because it's meant to be seamless and it's very strategic for recruiters, right? To just go into your resume and start asking you things about your resume because they want to see if you would be comfortable or uncomfortable. Immediately they notice you being uncomfortable, that's the end. That's all it takes, right? So, and it's always very common with global interviews. Very, very common. They make you feel relaxed, and then all of a sudden, boom, and then they see you threatened. They see you not being able to respond to it the way you're supposed to respond to it, and that's all. So that's the key things that you need to do.
Thank you so much. So for those, I know a number of people have joined since we started. If you have any questions, please do well to drop them in the chat and we will take your questions. We've come, I don't know, I don't know if there are any questions I've skipped, but I saw one question from HK and it's how many pages is your CV required to have? Is there like a maximum count? Is there a don't go there value of number of CVs? Is there a forbidden count for number of CVs and number of pages of your CV?
So if you're not a professor, why do you want to have a 4-page resume? Right? You don't want to give the recruiter a lot of work to do to go. And most times the people that have 4 pages resume just find out that it's their font and the size, right? And so you can easily manage your font and size to make sure that at maximum, right, you have a 3-page resume. And it depends on your what's it called now? It depends on your experience. It gets to a stage that certain experience would not matter, right? And you would just all you need to put is you put them there just for reference, right? They'll be there for reference. The company name and your role, the company name and your role. For example, my experience during my NYC when I was a teacher does not matter at all right now. So it's just there as reference that when I was doing NYC, I was a teacher, right? It doesn't matter right now because I don't need to tell them the subject. I am a more professional person. All they want to see is the things I have done, right? And so I don't need a 4-page CV or resume. I just need the maximum of 3. Maximum of 3. So except for the guys who are into education, they can have because they are the ones that even come up with CVs, right? It's more of a thesis for whatever they want to do, right? So they sometimes have 15, 20 pages.
Okay. Thank you so much. While we await any other questions, if there are any, we use this time now to go through the CV reviews. I've shared some CVs with you. I've given you a co-host right also. If you could walk us through 3 or so of them and then give tips on how to optimize it.
Okay. The CVs you shared with me are very interesting resumes. And
interesting in a good or in a bad way. We are software testers.
Good.
All right.
I
So
think
let's share screen if you want to.
Yeah, I will. Just give me a minute.
And we'll take your questions. I'm guessing I haven't skipped any other questions. Yep. And for those who are just joining in, this is a 2-part series. Tonight is the first part, and tomorrow would be having a second part to this series. Tomorrow will be focused more on how you can show value in terms of your writings the words you put in your resume, your CV, how that can show value and speak volumes even when you're not in the room. And also how to personally brand yourself. Like Vincent said, you need to be able to market yourself, right? And those are the two key things we'll be focusing on tomorrow. Okay, I have one
Can
question.
you see my screen?
Yes, you can see your screen. Yes,
Okay, I
please.
wanted to start with this because it's a very interesting one. This was even like the last one I looked at, and I just smiled when I saw it. So remember when I spoke about you having a very good professional summary, right? This looks good until I think it's she, maybe he or she started having this. I specialize in API database testing. I'm committed to driving customer, blah, 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 blah. So it was good up onto web and mobile application, right? I don't mind if it stops there instead of having all of this, because what then happens is you can then have it, you can have all of those things. You see, they're all here as well, right? But very key thing is for a QA engineer, right? Especially a senior QA engineer, this is very key. This too, very, 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 very key, right? This is what I look out for, and has done well by having all of this, right? Also look at this, right? I'm sure what the person wants to do is make sure that it shows up somewhere around here, right? But I think in the process of formatting, this jumped down here. So this is supposed to be here. It's just part of the view. I won't really take this as a major minus. Some people might, right? But I won't really like see this and say, oh, no, 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 no. It's a no, no, no. This I'm fine with what I would have to go through here, right? Makes sense. Let me open another one. Sorry. Okay, another interesting one. So you guys take note of all of these things. So this is not necessary, guys. The icons, no, 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 not necessary to have all the icons and all of the color, and then the formatting as well. You can see all over the place, right? Um, you have some recruiters who they call what they call them, their personality type, they call them judges, right? They are very, very organized set of people, right? And they're as organized as when they look at documents. And so this to them is a disorganized resume, a very, very disorganized resume. So if they come up here and open this, because they have a lot of resumes to look at, they just, close this and then come up with something else. I mean, check up, bring up another resume, and there they go, right? Let me bring up a very good resume. I think there was a Taiwo. The Taiwo. Hold on, please. Yes, it's Rashidat. Excuse me, guys. Yes, this is a beautiful resume, guys. Um, of course, she can do better with the professional summary, like she can reduce it, right? But the core competence, comes up, and then you have a professional experience, and she was able to give, in details what she's done. So this is a well done resume, right? This would need me to, go into the resume and see what she's done, even with a lot of, words here, right? The things she put here, like, tickled my fantasy, and I want to see, oh, okay. Where has she done all of these things? And then I'm seeing her core competence. I'm saying, okay, relate. And then she did this, right? Was able to. So if I'm going to interview this person now, right? This is an interest for me. Increase test coverage by 70% and cut regression testing time by 50% by implementing blah 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 blah. I want to know, right? And this is what I tell you when I say you just see resumes and then you use it as a means of the interview questions, because they are very interesting things, right? And then you want to know what the person has done with all of those things, right? All right, then I think I would stop with that. I think I was able to go through four. Do you want me to go through everything? All of the resumes?
If you can, we still have like 3 minutes and we have like
Oh,
in
that's
the
fine.
chat.
That's fine then. Um, yeah. I think I've not opened Taiwo. Okay, Joyce and Alfred. Okay, there's Taiwo. There's Taiwo Adeyemi, right? Um, so I understand what this person is trying to do. This is a link, right? Which makes sense as well. But your email, you don't need to make it a link, because it's sometimes I just don't want to go and click on the link and then start sending. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can. I was even
Yeah,
going to add not ATS friendly. Most times they
yeah,
flag hyperlinks and yeah,
exactly.
put the
So
full.
yeah, just put the full email, so we can see it. I like the professional summary, right? I like it. Um, I think where I had issues is just the formatting. Like I said, it's not a big deal. So this resume too is still a very acceptable resume. Forget the fact that there were colors and all of this. This is not out of place per se, right? So this is still a very good resume. I can see everything and it's pretty straightforward. What I'm looking for, I can easily check up here, right? And then the system can also pick necessary in keywords from all of this while trying to check. Let me pull the remaining two out.
Okay, while you're
Okay.
working on okay. It's
Yes.
not yet up. I wanted to quickly ask the question while you were working to pull that
Okay,
out.
please go
So
ahead.
there's a
Go
question
ahead.
from Euphemia. She says, please, what do you say about situations where you pass the interview, you get the offer letter sent to you, and later on you get an email saying the position is placed on hold or is due to some internal issues? Well, I don't think there's anything you can do about that,
There's
but
not there's
what's your
there's no
take on things like
there's
that?
nothing there's nothing you can do about it. It's happened a lot, right? I've seen it happen a lot. I've had to call people to let them know position has been placed on hold. Now, the only danger is if the offer letter has been sent out and that person has then resigned, right?
Fine.
Because of that rule. That's the only danger. I've not had I've not had any situation like that, right? Because but I've not worked with people that are very insensitive when it comes to that. If we're going to put any job on hold, it's going to be before giving the offer letter. And there are a lot of things that might amount to putting jobs on hold. It might be maybe someone was leaving and the person decided not to leave again, or maybe for a project and then they didn't get that project again. A lot of reasons, right? Causes that. The only time I've experienced someone who have resigned and I have to tell the person that we're not sending an offer, I verbally told the person that we're going to send an offer to the person, and then he went ahead to resign, which you should never, never, never do. Do not resign based
Have
on
you heard? You never do.
never, never,
I wish
never,
I could shout
never.
it.
Never, never, never resign based on verbal offer. You must see your offer, right? Signed. You must accept, you must send back before you resign your role. Very, very key. I hope that helps.
All right, thank you. We have more questions, but we'll take Joyce.
Okay. Joyce has a good resume. Just that she can work on the summary part of it. It's too bulky. I don't want to read all of this when I still have to go through the resume, right? So them to then go down to check and see, oh, okay, what has been done and all of these things. And then your choice of language is key. You shouldn't use present tense when it's meant to be past tense, right? Now I don't know if this person is still working or not working, but because as an end year, right, I can say maybe the person has left where he's working. But it's key that you are in 2024 to 2025. I don't know if it's for a year, if it's for 2 years or 4 months, 3 months. So you need to put months, right? When you are talking about. So those are the things that I can say is wrong with this resume. No months to show the duration, right? And then needs to work on uh, the summary. Let me pull out, let me see. Can you see Alfred?
No, you are saying
Let me
Not
Joyce.
yet.
screen. Okay. This is Alfred. Result-driven quality management engineer with over 1 year of experience and finding defects, optimizing software quality, proficient, blah, blah, blah. It's too much stories, right? It's really, really too much stories. Um, let's not be from this now. I don't know.
I think that's all. But
Oh,
we're not
okay.
seeing off resume again.
Something, I don't know why it stopped sharing. It just went off. Alfred is angry. Hold on, guys. Hold on, guys. Okay. Okay, back on. All right. I had to then, he did beautiful spell out his experience very well, which I can work with easily, right? Other than this, right? If opening Alfred's resume, I would want to still check, right? It looks pretty much catchy aside from the pronoun summary. So I can still go on and check his resume and look for the things I need from his resume. And then if I find them, I'm interested in Alfred, I then give Raphael a call, right? So, but it's very key that your professional summary is catchy. Let's it is key for the professional summary, and then the skills that is required. Just put it there, right? Things that are needed, key things, either manual or automated testing, all of those, some of the tools you've worked with. It's very key. But do not just put stories. Proficient in data analysis and reporting to strengthen risk. The thing is, the role might not even need all of this, right? And then see where this now comes in, skilled in both automated and manual. This should be out immediately after your years of experience, right? Or even the first thing that you want to put. Alfred is a skilled quality assurance and
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much,
you're
Vincent.
welcome. You're
I'll
welcome.
run through the questions we have in the chat. I also saw something on Alfred's CV. Is location required? Alfred, you also need to correct other hyperlink ATS friendly. Then is location relevant? I know that there's been this take out personal information, marital, that one has been many years ago. But now, does country really matter?
Country does not matter except if the JD specifies, right? And so if you don't put the location, it then goes against what was required, right? So if the JD does not specify location, it's really not important because most roles now are either hybrid or remote, so no one wants to know about the location. But if the JD specify location that, oh, you must be, so immediately they see your resume, the first thing a recruiter would check when there's a specific location required is to go and check if there's a location of your resume. If there's no location, they fail. They're not even looking at the resume. There's no points because they don't want to call you and then they realize that you are in Botswana when we need someone in Kenya, right? So
All
very,
right,
very
thank you
key.
so much. So running through the questions, is there a difference between CV and resume?
Yes, there is, right? Resume is a more professional way of selling yourself, which is what we use, right? Resume is a concise document that summarizes your skills, experience, 1 or 2 pages, or maximum 3, right? While CV is what the academic guys use, the guys, researchers, and all of those stuffs, right? So they're different. So we've just modeled everything up. We say send your CV, send your resume. But resume is more for we professionals, we that work in corporate settings and all of that. While CV is for the guys that are looking for research jobs, professor job,
All
and
right,
all of
got
those
it.
stuffs.
Thank you. So, next question. Why do this particular question? I'm very interested in the answer. Why are recruiters not getting back to candidates after an interview or attempted, or after the individuals attempted an assessment? At least I believe they deserve to know if it's a yes or a no. Character.
Oh, well, it's one of the things I worked on when I joined at the early days of Cavista Tech. I don't know why, to be sincere. I don't know why. They might be, I can assume, but I don't know why. But it's a very, very bad character and it's a bad work ethics, right? I don't support it. I don't agree with it. Now, when I joined Cavista, one of the things I put in place was, you know what, from the moment you send a resume, right, there should be a response, an automated response, right, that allows the person to know if they will reach out or they will not reach out. So you can get a response like, you know what, we'll receive your resume. We will let you know if you'll be moving forward. If after 2 weeks you've not been contacted, then it means you'll not be moved forward. That one is easy peasy. You know that it's two
But
weeks and then no one has.
we usually get that one. The one
Yeah,
that
I
person is
understand. I'm saying, yeah, that's what it's a stage, right? It's a stage that has to be there. And then once someone comes in for an interview, no matter what, positive or negative, you must reach out to the person. It's very, very key, right? I don't know why they don't. And I want to believe at the early stage of my career, it was difficult for me to give someone a bad news. So it takes me time to call someone to say, oh, you were not successful. Because then there's a lot of questions that I might not be able to answer. That might be one of the reasons, right? Someone will ask, oh, why didn't they pick me? And I might not even know why they didn't pick the person, right? And sometimes the reason why they didn't pick them might not be to be sincere, sometimes might not be too professional. And you do not want to tell a candidate that because it might become a problem, right? Because you have certain.
So when you say it might not be professional, can you give an example?
Oh well, because it's not professional, I can't give an example.
Ah.
But
Okay.
it might be because so sometimes let me give you an example. So I did when I was in I did a job for someone who was recruiting for an airline, right? And then it was between three people. And then the guy who was meant to be, who was the hiring manager, was saying, oh, I liked the first lady. She knows what she was saying. But you know what? The second lady is finer. I can't tell a candidate that because you're not fine. You understand? So it's you then need to be very, very creative and professional to be able to, but you have to give feedback. Very, very important. It's something I struggled with at my early years, but at that time I met with people that were able to mentor me in the recruitment space and all of that. I was able to give both um negative and positive feedback. Let me give you guys a very quick real life experience. When I was in Venture Garden Group, I did an operations manager role for one of the SBU. And there was this guy, very brilliant, sharp, and all of that, that didn't scale through. And then I put a call to the guy, spoke to the guy. Luckily, I saw a couple of things that he could do better, and I spoke to him and all of that. Guys, this is about 6 years now. The guy is still my very good friend. In 2020, he did his wedding. My best native, this guy did the native. He invited me for his wedding, bought the material and did the native for me. And ever since then, I've not had opportunity to even, invite him for any other job or any other thing. But we've done things together. And this is someone that I gave a negative feedback to, right? And so these are the things that happens when recruiters know their professional work and they're able to do it. A lot of people do it. I've heard about a lot of it. But we'll just keep trying in this space to see how we encourage our colleagues to make sure that they do better when it comes to this.
Right. Thank you so much, Somi. I think that's
Thank you.
there was a question around, you talked about hyperlink. Does it relate to any email or any hyperlink is not accepted? So is the position of the hyperlink, does it matter? Like, is there a rule that hyperlinks should not be before the professional summary, but you can embed hyperlinks within your description and narration or your responsibilities for past work experience, or is a no completely?
No, you can include hyperlink. For example, you can include hyperlinks in companies that you've worked for, right? I can easily click on the company link from your resume, takes me there, I check, and it even gives you credibility. For example, it took a while for people to know Cavista Tech. So imagine I'm looking for a job and someone sees Cavista Tech and has to go, start typing. It's not a big deal if the person needs to go and type. But if I put the link there and the person clicks on it and takes the person to, they say, oh, wow, wow, nice. Oh, this company makes sense. Oh, now I know the company. No stuffs like that, right? So there's no rules that says, oh, you cannot, you can. But for stuff like emails, right? It's a no-no, right? Just put your email and all of that. Your LinkedIn profile also makes sense. And then a lot of people who really use hyperlinks are um design guys who needs to share their portfolio as much as possible, which is very, very key, right? Sometimes we even need to ask for those links. So we are also kind of advise that not necessarily don't put everything on your resume. Let recruiters ask for your portfolios before you start sharing to them.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're
It's
welcome.
been an amazing time. Everyone, I'd like us to say big thank you, a special thank you to Vincent. He's helped us see things from the recruiter's perspective, and we're so grateful. Thank you for spending some time with us as at the Association of Nigerian Software Testers. I'm going to leave with this final note. There was a LinkedIn post that made headlines, or that blew up LinkedIn a few days ago by Fadi. That's a text accelerator CEO. I don't know if you stumbled on that post. And I was pretty upset when I saw this post, let me be quite honest, because I felt in my head, I was just like, this is exactly how Nigerians are scam started. The narrative of Nigerians are 419ers or Nigerians are scammers and everything. You pick a particular subset of people and then you use it to label an entire nation. I had an issue with that. The final question I want to ask, I'm seeing a lot of comments, all right, is this: how is the HR and HR profession trying to amplify talent in Nigeria, right? In light of different things that we see, it's already quite hard getting a job even within the country. Then painting a bad image from within the country out. Is there any active, any conscious move that is being made by, say, our beloved HRs in Nigeria to correct the narrative things about that post? And it's already out there, whether it's true or false, but how do we fix it?
Not just HR, right? It's very important that we need to know that the talent world is all about people. And that's why for me and for a lot of people I've worked with, a lot of people that I see as my mentor, the way they take talent, the way they talk about these things is first from a positive side. So there's a statement that everybody cannot be an idiot, right? Everybody cannot be mad. So my first reaction is not going to be negative. Let me digress a bit. So you have, well, let me use this example. So for example, in Cavista Tech, we give opportunities for guys to come into the office any time of the day, week. So even on Saturday, if you have your ID card on you, you can come in through the normal employee door, use your access card, come into this, and then we notice that one or two people are now staying in the office like it's their house, right? And they are messing the place up into the office, which we're able to know. And one of the leadership meeting, the consensus from all of leaders is, we need to stop people from coming into the office and all that. And then my question is, guys, just because of one person, do you want to stop your high flyer in your team from performing well because it thinks that it can sacrifice a Saturday and Sunday by coming to the office to do a good job for you, right? So we cannot all judge the system based on one irrational person, right? Or one uncommon sense person, for the lack of right word. And that's why I use the word that it's everyone's responsibility, right? Now, everybody needs to do their bit. In my own little space, I, as much as possible, amplify talent, right? The company I work for amplify talent as much as possible. And that's why our go toward is best and the brightest, best and the brightest, right? When I joined Cavista Tech, my usual slang would be 1% of the 1%. I realized that their slang was even better than mine. The best and the brightest, right? And so we just need to, as much as possible, amplify the positive side of talents than, because yes, obviously there's that negative side. There was one article I did, I think 2 years back, and I did it because of one of my colleague where I said I think the title was Greed or Hustle. I don't know if you saw that article on LinkedIn back then, Greed or Hustle. And it was from a point of we having people, because of the remote work system, we now have people who have 8, 9 jobs. I'm not capping, guys. People have 9 jobs, 10 jobs. And what they're doing is
What are
they
they
now
doing?
recruit they now recruit, no, they recruit younger guys. They get the jobs and then they recruit younger guys. And this is a QA person, for your information. He's a QA engineer that has 9 jobs, right? And then what happens is you can't get the best of results with this kind. And that was why I came up. But I would not say because of that one person, everybody's doing it. That's not going to be the mentality. So it's everybody's job. As much as possible that you have the opportunity to amplify the positive side of talent, please do. Right. I won't tell you that there's a special program from an HR perspective to do that, but I know that I'm in the midst of a lot of people who have this positivity about talent, because you can't do without talent, right? It's key. But when you start drawing up a narrative that makes it looks like that, then you then kill everything, not just from a global perspective, even from a local perspective as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you,
You're
Vincent.
welcome.
And thanks
You're
to
welcome.
everyone who has joined tonight. It's been an amazing time with you. I'm sure we've picked 1 or 2 things. I'm very sure you've picked more than 1 or 2 things, but yes, you've picked a number of things. And we're very grateful to have you. We hope we'll have you again. You accept our invitation again.
I'm always there for you guys. And
All
please,
right.
guys, sorry, Deme, please, guys, if you need to speak to me, you want to have a chat with me, you want to talk at any point in time, you can reach out to Deme. Deme, you have the freedom to give them my contact. You can talk to
Thank
me. Find
you.
time to talk. If you call me, I don't pick, please send me a chat and let me know where you are calling from and who you are. I will definitely return your call.
Thank you so much. Guys, I'm
You're
not saying
welcome.
clap. Oh. He just gave you access to himself free of charge. So I want us to appreciate. Yes, we're seeing the thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Thank
Vincent,
you.
thanks to everyone who has joined in tonight. Like I said, is it to speak your work in terms of value and also how to personally brand yourself. Like Vincent said, make yourself marketable. Don't just wait for the jobs to come to meet you. You also present yourself in a way that you are ready for the jobs and go after it. So thank you so much, guys. Join us tomorrow.